Well, happy Lunar New Year Eve, everyone. Such an exciting time. And today is the start of a new lunar year.
Yeah, so people from East and Southeast Asian cultures across the world are bringing in a new year of prosperity, hope, and calm. So the new year is 15 days of celebrations. The festivities usher out the old year and bring in luck for the new one. The holiday originally focused on bringing good fortune for farming and harvest. Banquets and festivals are typically held featuring fireworks and dancing dragons. The fireworks believed to scare off monsters and bad luck away. Got to scare away those monsters.
No monsters. Now, 2023 is also the year of the rabbit. The Chinese zodiac dictates which animal represents a given year. So each animal repeats every 12 years. The animals are given characteristics and are thought to represent the personalities of people born in that year. The rabbit is characterized to be gentle in spirit, approachable, good-humored, and expressive. So people born in the years 1963, 75, 87, and so on and so forth are thought to have the traits of the rabbit.
There are several Lunar New Year traditions, including no showering on the first day for fear of washing away good luck. So, Jeremy, no showering. You did that last year. Children receive crisp money in a red envelope, also called red packets, representing good luck. And there are lots of red decorations, a symbolic color meant to bring good fortune. New clothes are also seen as a fresh beginning, bringing good luck. So, Channing, there's your excuse.
Hey, I love go shopping.
Here's a closer look at the significance of Lunar New Year around the globe. Lunar New Year is a major holiday, especially for people in China, which is why it's often called Chinese New Year. The 16-day celebration also goes by the name the Spring Festival. This is a time for family, friends, and feasts, and to honor family ancestors, all to help bring in that good luck in the new year. One of the 12 zodiac animals represent each year of the lunar calendar, and 2023 marks the year of the rabbit, which represents longevity, peace, and prosperity. There are so many traditions tied to this festival, like scrolls with good luck messages and firecrackers and paper lanterns. And of course, the food. Let me tell you, throughout the New Year's festival season, certain dishes have symbolic meaning and bring good luck. Fish for prosperity, dumplings for wealth, and noodles for longevity, and so much more. The Lunar New Year season ends with a bang and the Lantern Festival.
Well, check this out. In honor of Lunar New Year, the Seattle Kraken will be sporting a new logo on their jerseys this weekend. So tomorrow against the Avalanche, Seattle will warm up in these Lunar New Year jerseys. Aren't those cool? The artwork features the Jade Rabbit, and it was designed by a local artist, Monier Chow. They say a big inspiration behind the design is sports invoking joy, and joy is for everyone.
I wanted to introduce the Jade Rabbit into the design. The Jade Rabbit is a divine medicine maker, and I wanted to bring in this imagery of ribbon dancing, which has been something that is a part of Chinese culture for so long.
That is so cool.
I didn't see the S. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I love these. So get this, you can actually bid for the Lunar New Year jerseys through the One Roof Foundation's Anchor auction. A portion of the proceeds will actually benefit the Wing Luke Museum, which focuses on the culture, art, and history of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders.
Well, Spokane's Lunar New Year celebration returns next weekend at the Spokane Convention Center to celebrate the Year of the Rabbit. Starting at 1 p.m., there will be performances, food, and music, capped off with fireworks at 7 p.m. The celebration again next Saturday, January 28th, and I'm excited to MC the celebration, so we hope you come down and visit. The event is free, and the first 5,000 attendees will receive one of those red envelopes with lucky money inside. We all want lucky money, right?
Lucky money.
She's being very Asian, and I don't know. She can keep her Korean to herself.
This is morning anchor Michelle Lee from our St. Louis station sharing a racist message she received after doing a segment on what Americans eat for New Year's. During the segment last year, she mentioned that she, as a Korean American, ate dumplings.
So since sharing that incredibly disturbing message, Michelle has sparked a movement called Very Asian. And get this, she even made an appearance on The Ellen Show. So now she's also the author of a children's book called A Very Asian Guide to Korean Food.
Michelle is also with us this morning here on the show. Hi, Michelle. First off, I want to congratulate you on January 19th being declared Very Asian Day in St. Louis. Wow, that's amazing.
That's incredible.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so appreciative of it. I'm surprised. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen or not. And it's kind of cool because one of the co-sponsors of the proclamation is the first Asian American alderman in the city of St. Louis as well. So it's just a celebration. And, and anyone who knows that Very Asian is a play on words, I think, just love the community building. So I was really excited and honored.
So Michelle, can you tell us a little bit about the last year, how you turned something that was so negative and could have been so traumatizing into something so positive?
Well, thanks for asking that. I don't think that I did it. I think that so many people supported and compelled me to do it. You know what I mean? I always say I didn't do anything. I just responded in a way that was honest for me. And then people were so ready to make it a positive thing in general, just celebrating who we are, bringing our full identities to spaces, and understanding that we all have multiple identities, so I'm a mom, I'm a working mom. I have, I'm Asian, but I'm also an adoptee. So my parents are, are white. And I grew up in rural America. And, I have a multiracial son. So to me, it's the idea of being proud of who you are, no matter where you were born, what you look like, where you were raised. And I think that that's a really positive thing in general. So I'm glad to be a part of it all.
Oh, and you've received such a great response too, and the Very Asian Foundation already making so many great strides in the last year. Can you tell us a little bit about the foundation and what you've accomplished in the last year?
Oh, sure. I feel like we've been sprinting through this last year. We launched the May Book Project, which is just an Asian American youth literature guide for all readers. And we've had 100% success in participation in states that we've been in. So that's been really exciting. We launched a micro grant program. We've raised tens of thousands of dollars for other Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander causes. We've been kind of busy, but we just really believe in the mission of shining a light on Asian experiences through advocacy and celebration. There's a lot to advocate for, a lot of wrongs in the world, but there's also a lot of room to celebrate and understand that we can live in dual existences. Sometimes we live in grief, but a lot of times we live in gratitude. And I think that's really our message. And then also just this idea of we have a right to tell our stories in all the places we live. And I just think that's a big part of what we do as journalists anyway.
Of course. And then your book. Okay, so we have your book here on our set. It's geared towards children, a guide to Korean food and culture, and the illustrations in it are just fantastic. What inspired you to create this children's book?
Oh my goodness. Well, really, it was just the opportunity. Karen Chan is the publisher of Blue Books, and she sent me a book that she wrote, and my son loved it. It was the first time he saw himself as a main character, and I thought, what? So I thought that was eye-opening to me, and I just reached out and said, thank you so much for this beautiful book. And then she said, have you ever thought about writing a kid's book? And I said, well, I have a lot of ideas, but I've never thought that I could do something like that. So I think it's really a great story of how people come in, they support you, and they elevate you, give you ideas that you thought you could never do before. And there's actually a lot of work that goes into kids' books and publishing that I had no idea. It's not you just write something. There's a whole thing. So it was a really great opportunity. And then the illustrator, student Rebecca Choi, just brought all the words to life. Without her, the book would not be, I think, as compelling, So I'm just really appreciative to two women who really worked on this aside from me, and just it felt like a really great just partnership and support system.
So now, Michelle, we know there's a lot of great recipes in this book, but which one is your favorite?
Well, okay, so I should say there are a lot of explanations of food, but the one recipe that we have in the back is a mandu recipe, or a dumpling recipe, because that's what went viral. But also, who doesn't like dumplings?
Yes.
You know, like every culture has a dumpling. They're just, you know, a little bit different. So, so the dumpling recipe is one that I've had probably for like, I want to say 20 years.
Wow.
Just from a friend of mine's Korean mom. So now that's my recipe too.
I love
So
it.
good.
So Michelle, obviously this weekend, Lunar New Year. So we wanted to bring you in also to share that dumpling recipe with us. So why don't you tell us what's in it? We have all the ingredients here on our set. So kind of walk us through what's in it. We have the ingredient list
Well, I
also.
get my book out too.
It's a cheat sheet.
It's like I have this same piece of paper that I look at over and over again. I have it mostly memorized, but sometimes I just forget like measurements. I do beef or pork, like just put two packages together. You can also do like tofu if you'd like. Zucchini, an egg. Oh, and when you do the zucchini, you know, you cut it up like eraser size, like bite squares, and then you wring out the water. So like put it on a cheesecloth or paper towel and just kind of get the water so it's not adding additional water. Garlic, onions, all the good stuff. I use a little bit of sesame oil, and then, you know, salt and pepper to taste. And if you feel like you really want just like a little extra bite, just put some small pieces of kimchi, like the fermented cabbage, the green cabbage, in. You won't be able to taste it when you actually make the mandu, but it's kind of like, you know, like beef and cabbage go together so well. So that's all I do. And then you put it in a little round circle wonton, or if you have the squares at your grocery store, that's fine too.
So we have the circles here on our table. So tell us what we need to do.
Oh, okay. So get out just a little bit of scoop, you know, just get out your wonton and then take a little scoop, just not too much, but just put it in the center.
Little scoop
and
in the
then fold it
center.
in half like a little moon.
And then we have a bowl of water too. Do we need to put water on the edge or anything?
I put water around the edge. You could do
Okay.
eggs, I guess, if you want.
Okay.
Water's fine. Yeah.
And that's
Okay,
kind of like
so then
the
you put
glue
water
that
on
puts it
the edge.
together.
And then fold it in half.
Okay.
Ooh, I put too much.
I did too.
This is
I got
gonna
too
be a big
excited.
wonton.
You might have big raviolis.
There
at
you
the
go,
end.
ravioli.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't take much. That's why you end up making like 100, you know, on Lunar New Year or wherever,
not good at this.
and then freeze half of them. So like I will always make a ton, and then I'll put them in baggies, and I'll, you know, go through those.
This is hard work, Michelle.
This is really
I
hard.
think of my grandmother. We own a
well, let me
restaurant,
give-
and like this
Let
would
me give
take
you a tip. You
hours.
can get one of these. Do you see this?
What?
Oh.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
And it makes the
I have-
imprint
I mean,
for
you can
you.
get this at any Asian market. You can get it online. I mean, this was like 99 cents. It saves so much time.
I need
This is
that.
so fun. And then Michelle, so then after that, once you make it, you either put it in the fryer on a pan with like some vegetable oil, right? Or you can steam
Yeah.
it. We have a steamed one. Let's show you some TV magic here. If we open this up, you can see our steamed creations. Our editor, Aiden, made these this morning for us. And then we could also fry them. So tell us a little bit about that process. What do you do if you want to fry them or steam them?
What I do, I usually put some oil in a pan, just like some, you know, some canola oil. And then when it gets hot, I put like maybe 5 or 6 mandu on the in the pan. And then once they get kind of like a little bit crispy, then I put just a teensy bit of water on the frying pan,
Ooh,
and then
what does the
close
water
it with
do?
the lid. Well, the water kind of steams it, so that but you have to be careful because that's when things like start going like this, you know, and you get you can get popped with oil. You can have like a
Pro tip,
you know,
pro
different
tip.
hazard in
Pro
the
tip.
kitchen.
Okay,
But
my
you know
second
what?
and third
Also,
take are better.
Are you cooking? Yeah. So also what I do though is if they're frozen, I'll do like some broth, and I'll just throw these in with a little bit of noodles, with a little bit of cabbage, with whatever vegetables I have. Makes a really nice soup too.
So,
And
Michelle, I
soup
wanted
is
to
like
ask
the
you though,
Korean-
what is the significance of dumplings in Korean culture? Because you talked about that in that broadcast on New Year's Day, and obviously you were talking about January 1st, I'm assuming. But still, what's the significance of dumplings in Korean culture?
Well, it's the same. I think it's like every culture. It like brings, fortune, wellness, health, celebration, and really, Korean people usually eat dokguk, which is a rice cake stew The little rice cakes that are little cylinders. And but then a lot of people do mandu daku, which is putting the dumplings in. So
Ooh, it's starting to sizzle.
Ooh, yes.
It smells so good in here.
Okay, Michelle, by my fourth one, now they look better. First one, no, not so much.
You know what? I don't judge. They do not have to look good. As long as they taste good. That's the only thing that matters.
That's all we're worried about.
Do you like it steamed or do you like it fried better?
Ooh.
I kind of like it fried.
Yes.
But if it's in a stew, then who doesn't like any kind of dumplings? And it's the same material, you know, it's the same ingredients, so I can't complain. But
I was thinking about, you know, in St. Louis, they're known for fried ravioli, right?
Oh, yeah.
So really,
have you ever had toasted ravioli?
it's I have, and it's basically, you know, a different version of a dumpling.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Every culture has a dumpling. I mean, pierogies, ravioli, whatever it is, you know.
An empanada.
That's so true.
Yeah. And when I talk to people, I'm like, if they've never made this recipe, I'm like, you're just making a giant meatball. So, you know, you're just putting the ingredients for a meatball and you're throwing in some zucchini and maybe some kimchi if you want. But I mean, it's literally the easiest thing. And then you know, once you make a batch, you've got a batch for like several months.
That's right.
Tim,
Prep
these
in
smell
advance.
amazing.
They do. I'm just hoping we don't burn them.
I know. Let's not embarrass ourselves. Well, guys, if you would like to order a copy of Michelle's book, A Very Asian Guide to Korean Food, or to get Michelle's dumpling recipe, it is tried and true. Tim and I made it. You can too. You can text the word Lunar, Lunar, to our number 509-448-2000. We'll send you a link right to your phone.
All right. Thanks, Michelle. We really appreciate you being here on the show. Happy Chinese New Year to you. Gung hei fa choi.
I love you. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.